My name is Kishore Chandiramani, and I welcome you all to the third in a series of 6 sessions on stress management. The topics for today's discussion are how to fine-tune one's judgments and how to deal with the ghost emotions. This involves learning to suspend judgments, that is, being less judgmental and not identifying with some of our thoughts and feelings. The psychological stress can be understood in terms of an emotional reaction that happens in response to a situation, and it's important to note that it is not the actual situation that causes stress, but how we perceive it. The question is how to become less judgmental, and for that there are 4 or 5 different things that one can keep in mind. The first and the foremost is to say to ourselves that all judgments that we make are relative and not absolute. If I say to myself, I am rich, but then compared to many people, I am not that rich. If I say I am poor, then compared to a lot of people, I am not that poor. And this can be applied to any judgment about health, knowledge, success in life, and so on. In mathematics, if 2 plus 2 is 4, then it can't be 6 or 8. But in psychology, the two opposites can be equally true. For example, one can say, we live in a caring and friendly world, and the opposite of it, that this world is indifferent to our needs and uncaring, is equally true. People are loving and caring, and people are selfish. Both these statements are equally true. There is an ultimate meaning in life, and there is no ultimate meaning, as everything disintegrates eventually. Both these viewpoints would be equally true. I am a successful person, and I am a failure. Both are equally true, depending upon the yardstick we use. This world is a beautiful place to live in, and the saying that the beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder are equally true. The thought of relativity of all our judgments can help us become less rigid and judgmental about ourselves and others. Human life is very complex, and we don't know the inside stories of people's lives. So making judgments about them is likely to cause unnecessary emotions. Normally, I ask my clients that whenever you are upset or stressed, ask yourself, what judgments have I made here about myself or about others? And you might find that 6 or 7 times out of 10, you have made some judgment, and that judgment needs to be challenged. It may be that 3 or 4 times out of 10, you're not able to put your finger on any specific judgment that you have made now and are still feeling unhappy or maybe happy. These are ghost emotions. The ghost emotions are nothing but the real emotions that we experienced in a real life situation in the past. The situation has become irrelevant, but the emotion is still carrying on in our minds. These emotions go into the unconscious mind in seed form and then bounce back into the conscious mind after a certain gap. I'd like to explain the process of identification and disidentification with more details here. Identification basically means that we adopt somebody else's thoughts, viewpoints, behavior patterns, and make them our own. A child identifies with a parent, and children grow up copying their parents' value system, thinking, attitudes, mannerisms, and posture without questioning them. If a father thinks that rich people are tax evaders or watching sports on television is a wastage of time, children grow up with the same attitude. But when they become an adult, they start questioning the wisdom in the things that their parents had said, and they might disagree with some of their thinking. This process of disagreeing is called disidentification. This identification with a thought puts an obligation on us not to disagree with it and to act in accordance with it, whereas disidentification frees us from that bondage. The thoughts that enter our mind can be classified in several categories: stray thoughts, induced thoughts, adopted thoughts, wild thoughts, daydreaming, and as opposed to all these categories, thoughts that truly belong to our real personalities. It's important to make this distinction so that we can identify with the thoughts that really belong to our personality and not with the thoughts that are induced or stray or adopted thoughts. I normally ask people to visualize their anxiety and depression in terms of the grease and the dirt in one's clothes that, although have gone deep into the fabric of the cloth, don't belong there and can come off. We have looked at our emotions, past and present, and how they color our judgments and how to erase them by using the analogy of recording and playing of DVDs.